KP's Video News, y'all. It's KP's Video News, y'all. It's KP's Video News, y'all. It's KP's Video News, y'all. What?
That's right. It's KP's Video News, y'all. Yes, indeed. So this is a different type of Black History Month. My little mic here. Different kind of Black History Month because this particular Black History Month had 29 days in it. Wow. We got a leap history month. So it's calling it Our Story. This is Our Story Month. And yeah. So, hey man, I'm gonna go ahead on and do a couple of stories here that I ran across that are pretty disturbing in a sense that a lot of times these things happen and you never really get the full story, especially if you try to watch it on the news. They never tell you the whole thing. So I'm gonna dig right in. Oh yeah, first of all, let me say, don't forget to hit that notification bell, and don't forget to hit that red and white box there, so you can get subscribe to KP's Video News. And a couple of announcements in about, I'm going to say in about maybe a week or two, probably in about a week and a half, I'm going to try to interview Molly Bell from Compton. She's busy right now working, doing some campaign election, helping some people trying to run for office in the state of California and Compton, Los Angeles areas. I want to interview her. She's really busy right now. Also, I want to try to do another trifecta with Kev Mack and Mickey D. And that was a fun. We did 2 episodes so far. It was pretty nice, pretty fun to do. Oh yeah. Anyway, this is get your fist out. Put your fist out. Yep. So anyway, yeah, I want to try to do that again, but this time I'll try to get it all the way across the spectrum. The last time it didn't really go the way I wanted it to go because I was not the moderator and I could not control how each individual show was going. So this time we got to synchronize so that Kev Mack's show is going live, Mickey D's show is going live, and my KP Video News is going live, all 3 on our own separate stations, but together at the same time, if that makes sense. Okay, in tandem. All right, so here's the situation we got here. It's a Texas homeowner that was shot 5 times by police after they mistook her for an intruder. So that's deputies with the Harris County Sheriff's Office. And, she was at home. And they came into our house. The woman identified as Ebony Pouncey was shot 5 times and hit in the leg and torso. And she's hired attorney Ben Crump to help her. And this situation happened back on February 3rd. So it's been almost a month now, which was captured on a body-worn video, occurred after the deputies responded to a report of a break-in at a Houston apartment. The deputies were later seen shooting through the apartment window when Pouncey made her way to the door after hearing a noise outside her home. And the footage, the deputies are seen making their way to an upstairs apartment before a car alarm blares. One of the deputies then talks to the second officer before they proceed to open fire, and that's after an officer allegedly sees Pouncey in possession of a gun inside her home. The Harris County Sheriff's Office stated one of the officers fired shots at the home again after reloading their gun, and the 2 deputies then go downstairs and make a shots fired report to their colleagues via radio. The sheriff's office said the deputies responded to the apartment after they received a report of a break-in and noticed the front window screen removed, broken glass, and blinds raised near the front door. One of the deputies announced that they were at the scene after knocking on the door during a news conference. A friend Pouncey had hung out with the night before said she forgot her apartment keys, adding that she told Pouncey to smash the window to enable them to get in. Pouncey's friend, who lived in the apartment, also said they later heard the door being banged after they entered her home. She said Pouncey then went for her gun and made her way to the door before the deputies opened fire on her. Started seeing holes in the walls and then realized that something was coming through the apartment. Pouncey told it that she's the news outlet. Pouncey also said the incident was impacted the way she cares for a 1-year-old daughter. Said her beautiful daughter, she said she knows that she's not able to do the things I was able to do before, and I'm not able to be as attentive with my baby. And she's only 1 year old. That's probably the hardest part. Crump said the bullets did not hit Pouncey's vital organs through the long-term effects of her gunshot wounds haven't been established at the moment. The attorney stated that the shooting has left Pouncey traumatized, and we all know that every American citizen right now is keenly aware of the Second Amendment rights and their rights to bear arms, Crump said. Why is it a presumption that we do not have the right to Second Amendment? This reminds me of something similar that happened with Breonna Taylor when her boyfriend was a law-abiding registered citizen, and yet the police busted the front door, shooting and killing Breonna Taylor. And the investigation into the incident has been launched, and the deputies involved have been placed on administrative leave. The newly released body cam footage is evidence of the unnecessary and excessive force used against her, Crump stated in a statement on February 12th. We demand that deputies involved be immediately held accountable for the terrible injuries. And it's a sad situation, man. When the cops come in certain neighborhoods, it's like they come with their guns out, guns already out, ready to shoot, even if it's a traffic violation. They already got their guns out, already in the shooting mode when they get on the scene. Yep, as soon as they get on the scene, and just to say that, here's leading into this next story, and so a Mississippi judge reverses a guilty verdict against a black lawyer who recorded a traffic stop by embattled police department she exposed. Yep. The Mississippi judge reversed his own ruling a week after finding a prominent civil rights lawyer guilty of multiple criminal charges in an overturned verdict that drew comparisons in injustices of the Jim Crow South. Attorney Jill Colin Jefferson, president of the civil rights law group Julian, also works as a professor at Harvard Law School while serving as a crusader for racial justice across the country. However, her activism got her into hot water in Holmes County, Mississippi, where she was arrested in June 2023 after she filmed a traffic stop by Lexington Police Department. I know exactly where Lexington is. People from there whose officers had been accused of rampant misconduct, including violence, racial profiling, harassment, witness intimidation, and corruption in one of the nation's poorest counties. As a result, Jefferson was jailed for several days as Justice Department officials arrived in Holmes County to speak to the community about her experiences with the local police force. Last week, Jefferson went on trial on 4 misdemeanor charges related to her June arrest, including unlawful use of a mobile phone while driving, obstructing a public roadway, failure to comply, and resisting arrest. Our legal team presented evidence that included Jefferson's testimony and video recordings that refuted the police version of the events, but Judge Marcus Fisher of Holmes County Justice Court found Jefferson guilty on 3 counts while clearing her of the charge of unlawful use of a mobile phone. The judge issued a fine as well as a scathing rebuke of Jefferson's actions, which defense attorney Michael Carr described as sounding like a prepared script. As Jefferson's lawyer prepared her appeal, he noticed irregularities in Fisher's ruling and noted that after a week, the judge also failed to submit his decision to the circuit court for reconsideration. At that point, Carr requested the official documentation of Jefferson's conviction for the court, but was stunned when he received an entirely different order from Fisher that declared cleared Jefferson on all charges. In 18 years of defense practice, I've never seen this happen. A judge reversing himself within days after an oral pronouncement of guilt in court and assessing fees and fines at that moment, Carr said, while noting that Fisher's new order contained multiple spelling and punctuation errors. Jefferson said she noticed that Fisher issued a bench ruling in her case from verdict sheet saying the judge couldn't pronounce some of the words. During our trial, Jefferson discovered that some charges were added much later by the arresting officers and asserted that her lawyer did not receive key evidence such as body camera footage of the arrest until the night before the trial. Jefferson also claimed that the arresting officer, Scott Walters, bragged to his friends about putting her in jail and sending her a friend request on Facebook after she was found guilty. Jefferson described her ordeal as emblematic of what we're organizing against and asserted the public uproar in her case helped her get the charges dismissed. It's a personal victory for me, but in terms of the community, they're not going to do that for any of the innocent Black people that they've put canned verdicts on. And they're not going to re-examine those cases and give them a second chance. They only did that because I'm an attorney and I know my rights, which we kicked up a stink about all this whole situation. So I mean, this was an attorney that they arrested, and they should have known that this attorney was going to fight tooth and nail to get that overturned without a doubt. Okay, here we go. Even though the police found no signs of drugs, this is another case, drugs or other contraband, Holly Ellis was strip searched by Pennsylvania police officers. Pennsylvania police officers have reached a settlement with the woman who says she underwent an unnecessary and humiliating strip search after she was pulled over for a minor traffic violation. According to a lawsuit filed in 2021, Holly Ellis, who was traveling through Bentleyville, Pennsylvania, on her way home from work when she was pulled over by local police officer Brian Rousseau. When Rousseau pulled Ellis over, he quickly asked for consent to search the vehicle, which Ellis denied. According to the lawsuit, Rousseau responded that he had the right to search her vehicle. Soon after, a second police officer arrived on the scene. The two men again asked to search her vehicle, telling her even more officers would soon arrive, fearing for her safety and knowing that police did not have jurisdiction to search her vehicle, yet were insistent and intimidating in attempting to do so. Ms. Ellis allowed the vehicle search to occur under duress and coercion. The complaint states the officers searched Ellis's vehicle, found no signs of drugs, illegal weapons, or other contraband. However, that wasn't enough to the officers to let Ellis go. A female police officer, unnamed in the suit, had arrived on the scene, and after having a brief conversation with the other officers, began to strip search Ellis. The officer began to strip search and physically and visually inspecting Miss Ellis's breasts. According to the complaint, Ellis then had to remove her pants and underwear to her ankles and squat to the ground, during which she bent down to the ground with one knee and performed a visual cavity inspection. The complaint further states that the female officer began to put gloves on her hands, stating that, Miss Ellis, I'm sorry, this is the worst part of my job. However, the suit states that just before physically searching Ellis, she asked her, do you know why they want me to do this? Ellis responded she didn't know, and that she was simply on her way home from work and to pick up her child. Following this interaction, the female officer refused to search Ellis. She was eventually allowed to leave, though Rousseau did later write Ellis a citation for driving 5 miles per hour over the speed limit. That citation was dropped, though, when Rousseau failed to appear at the hearing. Ellis filed a lawsuit against the two male officers on November 2021 after a more than 3-year legal battle, including a civil trial. A settlement was reached in the case, though the exact terms of the settlement have not yet been revealed. The warrantless search, culminating in a minor traffic violation for driving 5 miles per hour over the posted speed limit, for which Mr. Ellis was subsequently found not guilty, the complaint read, as directed and approximate cause of the search, Miss Elliott suffered mental anguish, embarrassment, and humiliation. And I hope she got millions, man. That's ridiculous. A traffic violation, and you're gonna go through all that. Come on, man. It's ridiculous. Okay, here we go. This is Mississippi. This is how most of this thing's been down south. The sheriff who presided over a violent goon squad tries to play dumb. And this is what Sheriff Brian Bailey stated after his deputy admitted to brutalizing innocent people. Nobody's ever reported that to me. So he's trying to pretend. He said, I am shocked. I'm shocked, Bailey stated. Said last August after five of his former deputies admitted to punching, kicking, tasing, torturing, and humiliating two men during an unlawful home invasion the previous January. This is a perfect example of why people don't trust police, and never in my life did I think it would happen in this department. Now, this is Bailey saying this. And according to an investigation, Bailey had plenty of reasons to think something like this would happen in his department. Similar things have been happening in Rankin County for nearly 2 decades. Narcotics detectives and patrol officers, some of whom call themselves the Goon Squad, barged into homes in the middle of the night, accusing people of dealing drugs. They handcuffed them, held them at gunpoint, and tortured them into confessing or providing information. So 17 incidents involving 22 victims based on witness interviews, medical records, photographs, and injuries, and other documents. Those cases almost always involve small drug busts, and accusers describe similar tactics. Deputies held people down while punching and kicking them or shocking them repeatedly with tasers. They shoved gun barrels into people's mouths. 3 people said deputies had waterboarded them until they thought they would suffocate, while 5 said deputies had told them to move out of the county. Although the federal charges that drew national attention to police brutality in Rankin County involved 2 black victims, Bailey's deputies were equally opportunity abusers. They appeared to have targeted people based on suspected drug use. Most of the accusers, and so it's like deputies' pattern of abuse was reflected in complaints and lawsuits. More than a dozen people have directly confronted Sheriff Bailey and his command staff about deputies' brutal methods. And at least 5 people have sued the department, alleged beatings, chokings, and other abuses by the deputies associated with the Goon Squad. Bailey said he had never heard of the Goon Squad and said he had no reason to think his deputies were abusing their authority. Nobody ever reported to him, he stated. And he never, ever could have imagined that the 5 convicted deputies, who included a man he said he knew well and had chosen an investigator of the year in 2013, was capable of these horrendous crimes. Bailey, who was reelected in November after running unopposed, rejected calls for resignation. And he says, I'm going to fix this. He promised, going to make everyone a whole lot more accountable. So yeah, this went on for decades, and you're gonna say, and people have filed complaint after complaint after complaint. It's no way you can say you didn't know it when you've been filed, complaints have been filed, and lawsuits have been filed. You can't sit there and say you didn't know it, man. Come on now. Just go ahead on and get real with it. All right, folks. This is the end of Our History Month. It's Black History Month. It's Our History Month. And I'm like, hey, it's all good, man. People just do what you got to do. Assalamu alaikum. Just go ahead on and do what you got to do and keep the peace. And hey, don't forget, like I said, to subscribe, hit that red and white box, subscribe. Don't forget that notification bell. Hit that notification bell so I can send you notifications when I get any new videos coming out. Don't forget to share, like, and comment. Leave some comments in the comment section. And, hey, don't forget, you know who it is. It's KP's Video News, y'all. Peace.
KP's Video News, y'all. It's KP's Video News, y'all. KP's Video News, y'all. It's KP's Video News, y'all.